Good morning, Jennifer Balanay here from beautiful San Diego in California. And I am here today. I've got a special guest, Shanna Welsh-Levin from SoCal Realty Law. And she is here, so kind to give us of her time to share some tips, some answers to some questions that I know some of you are having. I know I personally have received some of these questions, actually several of them. I know that my office, other colleagues have been getting these questions. So Shanna, thank you so much for taking the time to answer some of these. And I think it'll kind of give some people some ease to know that there is a solution out there.
Happy to be here, Jennifer. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Shanna and I have actually worked together for quite some time. She's been a lawyer for over 15 years and here in San Diego. And I know that she personally has helped me personally, and she's helped my clients. So she's amazing. She's very thorough, detailed. So I vouch her 100%. Okay, let's start off with the first question. I know that people are asking whether tenants can be evicted right now, and how long is it going to take? Maybe
Okay,
help enlighten us.
yeah, I'm happy to answer that question. We are able to evict some tenants, but the reasons that we are allowed to use for evictions right now, the reasons that we can use on, particularly on notices, so that we can successfully evict the tenant, are very limited because of changes in the law that occurred. It started September 1st of 2020. The COVID-19 Tenant Protection Act of 2020 really restricted the reasons that we're allowed to evict tenants. And so for the most part, evictions for non-payment of rent are off the table. There's a whole hardship declaration and a procedure. And I'm not saying completely off the table, but for the most part, we're not encouraging people to go forward with those. But other reasons that we can use for evictions are like the owner wants to move in, or the property's in escrow to be sold to somebody who's going to move in. And there's a list of other things that we can successfully use for eviction. You asked how long it takes.
Yeah.
The good news is that the courts are conducting virtual trials, and virtual trials are proceeding as scheduled. So in California, there's a period of time in which once you file the eviction and you get it served and everybody's responded, the court has to set the trial. You request to set the case for trial, and the court has 20 days to set it in. And they are successfully setting those trials.
That's good.
The other side of the coin is that there are lots of things tenants can do to delay the trial. And so, for instance, requesting a jury can delay your trial because there are no juries currently. Because of COVID, there are no juries. So that can make a huge difference in how long it takes to complete the eviction.
Right. So it's quite, it can be either or. You're on both ends there.
Yeah.
Okay. So good information. So thank you for that, because I think that'll be really helpful. Also wondering, so I guess since you answered it that way, how are landlords able to pay their mortgage when tenants aren't paying? What's the solution here?
We call it the juggle and struggle. When a landlord isn't receiving rent for a long period of time, under normal circumstances, a landlord might be ready to not receive rent for a couple of months if something goes wrong with the tenant or they can't get a new tenant once one moves out. But in current circumstances, I know landlords who haven't received rent since April.
Right.
And they are in a bad place. We've started working on evictions that have taken that long. One tenant is still in there. We started back in April-ish. That landlord in particular luckily doesn't have a mortgage, but he struggles to pay property taxes. And so, juggle and struggle is the way that it's going. But the other side of the coin is that the same COVID-19 Tenant Protection Act of 2020 provides some protection for the landlords who aren't receiving rent. So in that case, there's a procedure set forth in the statute where the landlord can provide a hardship declaration to their lender and request forbearance. And then the law strongly encourages the lender to provide the forbearance, and if they don't provide the forbearance, they have to provide a written response as to why. Also, we are seeing federal funding come to California, and the state of California just passed AB 91, which says that they're going to set up a fund to help not only tenants who have been hit by the COVID hardships, but landlords who have been hit by COVID hardships due to non-paying tenants. So there should be a fund available. If it's not already available, it will be available soon.
Oh, wow, that's great news. I feel like that's some sunshine at the end of a dark tunnel, because it's hard. I mean, from a tenant's perspective, you know, they're stuck. Where do they go? They don't know what to do if they're not able to work. And then from a landlord's perspective, it's what are they supposed to do? So getting some help from the government, I'm sure, would be a good solution, or with their current lender. So great advice. Thank you for taking a few minutes of your time. I just really wanted to get those really core questions that people have right now answered. I know that you offer services and a webinar, is that correct?
We have a series of webinars. Many of them are posted on YouTube. If you look up in YouTube, SoCal Realty Law, you can find some of our Landlords Need to Know series. And we've got a new one that was just recorded last week that should be posted very soon.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Shanna, so much for your time. Please, I'll go ahead and post your information on the bottom in the notes below. Please don't forget to subscribe to both of our YouTube channels and for more information like this. Thank you again, Shanna, for your time, and we'll see you again for sure.
Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. See you soon.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. I hope that video was helpful for you, and hopefully you took some nuggets from that. After we hung up the interview, she did mention that there are some resources out there. She mentioned there being some government help, so she gave me a website and phone number that I will go ahead and post in the chat below. Hopefully that is helpful. She also mentioned if you do need her, she's available. I know she's extremely busy right now and making some changes within her business to get back in a timely manner. But if you do mention that you heard from me, mention my name, she will be able to get back to you sooner. So please don't forget to mention my name. Also, I hope that was helpful. There's a lot of those questions kind of rolling around right now, and I hope that you were able to take some things from that. Thanks again. As always, check me out at agentjenn.com, and thanks for watching.